here and doing beautiful work here at the World of Ability Podcast Network, powered by Transforming Media Network. This is your World of Ability podcast show. We have all sorts of guests piling in here today. We are building up, boy, we might have a Brady Bunch screen by the time we're done. So, we're going to get things off to the races here. This is a Power Pack Saturday, a Super Saturday in our own right. So we're going to get moving along. I'm going to set the stage here a little bit. World of Ability. What is World of Ability? Well, first of all, obviously, it shows you that we're taking a global scope. I look at the 2 billion, that's billion with a B. And so 2 billion people around the world of the 8 billion people in the world. So basically 25% of the world's population, 1 in 4 people in the world, are the people I lean on, are the people I look for, are who I call the masters of ability, basically giving us the semblance of the disability community that we need to really build out and make this world a better place. All of us feel this. If we could survey, and maybe we do, with all this AI stuff coming out, hey, this is the time. Now is the time, and we are the ones to get it done. And that's what I propose. I am a disruptor. I am a change maker. I'm a change agent. So we are going to make the change that everybody wants to see in the world. We're going to study the delta. We are going to bring this impasse of all the things through this collective energy with this group here. We've got 7 of us right here on Zoom. Zoom Enterprise. What a great corporation Zoom is. And we're using great platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. We're using it all. We're using the Restreams, the StreamYard. We have the tools here. We just got done producing a show with the Disability Channel, the TDC Today Show USA. Even though it carries the flag USA, it's there to premiere people from all around the world. And here we are meeting people from all over the world thanks to this group here, culminated through the Happy Neighborhood Project. So we're going to be taking a look at that a little bit. And so in this work of social acumen, social mission, social commitment, and here at World of Ability, we're about integration, inclusion, accessibility, accommodation, removing biases, removing stigma, making it that everything is for everyone, everybody. Everything is for everybody. What a concept. It all started with my family and I setting out to do the Inclusion to Water Skiing campaign, the Everybody Skis program. And it took a little bit of an art form because, boy, when we started it that first year, we had our own ideas how it was going to go. But luckily, life had prepared us to be a little flexible. And the disability community prepared us to adapt and adjust and conquer. So as Emily likes to say, we got her did. We got her did. And when we set plans, Emily says, let's get her did. So this is all an art form. We're using linguistics. We're using, language, disability friendly language. We're using people first language. We're using disability etiquette. We're using everything the world provides because it seems like it's going to take everything we've got. I've got the nickname Captain Kirk, and Captain Kirk hears many times, I'm giving it all I've got, Captain. So that's what we're going to do here today. And definitely the disability community has shown me the valuable position of art therapy, and the effect that art has in expressing what we're trying to express. A picture is worth 1,000 words. And so we have the man of 1,000 words, Matt Harling. Come on in here and showcase for us your work. You've got a passion project. You're in heart work. And you're an artist, heartfelt stuff coming every day, and you're feeling a lot of the sentiments, the emotions, the trials, the tribulations, and also trying to put into your art the victories that people are having, that, in the stigma, once in a while we forget that awesome stuff is happening for people with disabilities and people that have a rare disease. So Matt, tell us a little bit more from your perspective. You're the creator. Give us the word, artiste.
Well, this may go a little bit different direction from what you're thinking. I'll briefly touch on on a project that I'm trying to wrap up and actually publish a book by the end of this year that highlights children with rare disorders, rare diseases, that highlighting what they can do. And the title of the book is going to be "See What I Can Do," and I'll let's see if I can do a real quick a quick showcase of some of the paintings I've done of these children, that just showing things that these children are doing. And the reason why I want to go in a little bit different direction today is I'm going through my own little thing right now. I 7 years ago had a traumatic brain injury, and been dealing with that for 7 years now. And then last August, I fell and had another traumatic brain injury. And the MRI that time showed that I have had a benign tumor called a meningioma. And that meningioma got removed in November, but it was a kind that they felt like they needed to do radiation treatments for me. I got started on that radiation this last Monday. Before I got started with it, I thought, you know what I want to do is I want to kind of record what my experience is like to help me and maybe to help other people too. So 13 days before I started, I did this did all these little small paintings. This is me kind of getting ready for that journey that I was about to get started on. And a few days later, I did this one because I was really tired. And just trying to keep track of what is it that I'm doing? How am I doing? Here's a ink drawing of my hiking shoes, getting ready for this journey. And I had a chance a couple weeks ago to go on a hike with my grandson, actually with my grandson and granddaughters, my son and his wife. Getting uplifted by my family, people who are around me. The day before I started, I did this drawing. This is kind of my brain, or at least my imagination of what my brain looks like before the radiation started. And then my first day of radiation treatment, I did a drawing. This is what the machine looks like, with me lying down with this thing focused on me, getting ready to irradiate my head in just the right way. And here's next day was a little bit closer visual of this is what it kind of looks like, this machine blasting this radiation into my head. I felt like it was important that I highlight the people that are there helping me. This is my care team. But then, you know, after my fourth day, I had a little scare that made me maybe a little bit concerned. So I did this painting, which is a little more abstract, trying to depict how, you know, there's things going on inside of my head that I'm not sure I know what's going on, and I'm a little scared. This is from yesterday on my fifth day. Got done and it felt like the side of my face was kind of burning. Luckily it's better now, for now, but I expect that I've been told that I'm going to feel this burning sensation. Radiation does that to you. I'm I don't it's I'm actually finding that this is really bringing myself into greater understanding of how my body is doing. I'm paying more attention to those things, and it's actually helping me to know, okay, I need to take a break, I need to slow down, I need to stop, I need to take a nap. And there's lots of naps going on in my life right now. I've been sharing these on my Facebook page, and also there's a Facebook group that's called Brain Injury Artists, and I posted this there, and one of the other people there saw these and said, I want you to know that already these paintings have inspired other people that are getting ready to go through radiation treatment. And it almost makes me think that, okay, there's something I need to do with these paintings when I'm done. Some of these paintings, I want to go back and I want to do big ones, because I think there's some good stuff in here that I want to embellish or improve on after I've got a little more energy. But I really do want to enable people to have to be able to see that they can get through this if they've got to go through radiation treatments. These are not, I mean, I've got a long road ahead of me. I got to do this 33 times over 6.5 weeks, every day, Monday through Friday. I get Saturdays and Sundays off. So today is a good holiday for me. But these are things that there's a lot of people that go through this, and they don't have to go through it for long, hopefully, but hopefully by the end, everything is good and they don't need to worry about it anymore. The treatments get rid of their cancer or reduce the possibility of their tumor, like mine, of regrowing. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what's focused. My mind is focused on that.
All right, so I want to bring Barbara in here. Barbara, I think you can relate a little bit to the nuances in life, the need of napping, being tired, chronic condition. And, I figure you to be one of our friends, one of my friends that appreciates art. I'm thinking you've got some things on your mind, having heard Matt. What's your take on it? And what do you have to add from your own life?
And thank you for seeding my thoughts. Definitely, I know one of the joys in my life right now is being able to give myself permission to, hey, if I want to take a nap right now and get into the beautiful state I could get into with sleep, I'm allowed to do that. It's okay. I have the time to do that. I'm allowed to do that without having to feel guilty or shameful, and then see if when I get up, that was a good cause to make. I'm more clear now. I'm more capable, and it's kind of a fun place to be, to have time to get to know yourself better. I think I'm in my 70s, getting in my mid 70s, and there's a lot of benefit that comes with that. And one of the biggest benefits is the challenge to say, let's see how I can do to live so much longer. And I think I feel a little bit smart in knowing that there's physical reasons why I'm not as smart as I could be, what that has to do with head injury, brain injury. And yeah, right now, so much, it kind of seems like it's all good, if we let it. It's just, so want to share that. And almost calmed down to the point where I could let myself get into like writing a children's story, something that we shouldn't lose as people get so busy and you think time is money and all that. I
Yep.
wonder if I touched on the person right before me. Did I touch on your sense of what you were trying to communicate?
Yes, that's very good. Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff. So Kiala, I want to bring you in a little bit because whether it's stereotype, false impression, or whatever, I'm up here in Wisconsin and you're out there in the Hawaiian Islands. And I think the Hawaiian Islands, Barbara, that'd be quite a paradise for you, right? That seems
Oh,
like a great place for our friend Barbara. So maybe you can visit sometime.
I was there one time with like 30,000 Buddhists took over the island. And what was so funny is I had been praying, and I thought I had to die, to be somewhere where I could be surrounded with people who were about love and people you could really trust. And all of a sudden I saw that my impossible dream, the impossible prayer, had become my reality. That was an experience I had in Hawaii. Could you hear me clearly?
So
Yes.
Kiala, you want to, build off of that in terms of, how you're grateful that you're on the Hawaiian Islands, the things that you recognize that, talking to somebody from Wisconsin, you've got stuff available to you there that I don't as much do, there's like this cultural difference between Wisconsin and, the Hawaiian Islands and so forth. So I mean it to say to celebrate what's available in Hawaii. And so hearing Matt's story and everything he said, and then what Barbara said, I think the Hawaiian culture, in my guesstimation, a little bit addresses all of this, right?
Absolutely, Kurt. So for instance, being born and raised here in the islands, we are the melting pot of pretty much every culture, every race, every ethnicity around the world. And we just kind of take bits and pieces and call it our own. So for instance, yesterday it was Girls' Day, highly celebrated in, I believe, Japan. They have, and they also have Boys' Day. And from my understanding, in what we call the mainland or in the States, they don't celebrate Girls' Day. They don't do Boys' Day. I believe there's Kids' Day. I could be wrong. So being able to hop on and meet Matt, I think he's in California, Northern California, right? Or am I wrong? Yeah. So, and him being interested in one of our trees, the Ohialehua tree, it's a tree that represents being able to thrive in any different situation, which here on the Big Island, we have the volcano. So when you have the volcano, not much can grow, right? But out on the lava fields, you start seeing these trees popping up and they're thriving and they're creating nature at its finest. So to be able to walk out of my house and have the natural elements of therapy, of reviving my inner self, is just amazing. And I know that what we offer culturally and weather-wise, it only helps those who are going through a rough patch in their life to see the various colors, the hues, the temperature, the beach, the waves, so we actually have snow on our mountain. Very rare. We'll say in Hawaii it's snowing, but two of our islands we have snow. Very fortunate to go from the snow to the salt water and get that therapy. And just to be able to say, yes, I live in paradise. Not many can say that, right? Not many can say I'm naturally healed by what's around me. And to me, that's just life. I don't know anything else outside my doors because I haven't lived anywhere else. So yes, there's a big culture difference from here in the mainland. And we're always welcoming people. but make sure we welcome with respect as well, right?
Here you go. So speaking of welcoming, we want to welcome our great friend Rudy. So Rudy, he always comes in here with that lifestyle statement, that speed car, the race car, that luxury car behind him. And so, talk about a guy that's keeping his dreams moving forward. We got Rudy here. So Rudy, as you're hearing this, I don't know where the realm of art plays into your life, in terms of like your own human condition physically and whatever, and then places like Hawaii, so travel in your life and so forth. And, I kind of keep bringing Barbara in here. I call her my color commentator and stuff like that. Kind of where are you kind of coming into, in this first segment of the show where, you're kind of hearing these different lifestyle things, parts of life, enrichment and self-care and stuff like that. What's your statement in all of this, Rudy?
Oh man, so art is a big part of my life too. The photo behind me is actually one of the photos I've done. It's one of my favorite works. It took me, and I double checked this, it took me 280 something shots to get right. Because I was moving and my friend was moving and he wanted a cool picture of his car. And I said, I can totally do that. Art plays a big part in my life. I feel it's a great way of expression. Also, in the creation of art, at least with me with my photography, I am so in the moment, and practicing being present and practicing being in the moment is very valuable, especially for me, because in my past, I used to be everywhere but in the moment. I was either all the way in the past, all the way in the future, but I was never present. That's been a major shift in my mental mindset space over the past year. And it's been absolutely wonderful. So art's a big thing with me. And I also love to capture the moment. I mostly do landscapes. Car art's my other major thing. I've been doing photography for about 11 years. So it's a big aspect of my life for sure. Hawaii. Oh my God. I have not been there in 22 years. I feel like I left a part of myself over there. I need to come back and stay months, years. I went to all the islands. I was on a 7-day cruise, and it was absolutely heaven. It was beautiful. I felt at home. The people, the culture, it's just so kind and open and just authentic and real. And I loved it. And I'll never forget it. Also, pit barbecue pig was delicious. Oh man, with the rocks, cooked all day. I'm also a big foodie, so Hawaiian food and me are very close. Gotta love that. And I've had pui, and it's absolutely wonderful. I don't know why everybody thinks it's different. I love it. It's amazing. The texture's unique. That's what's good about it. But I love weird food. My friends think I'm weird, so it's all good. But yes, it's a wonderful place. I really want to go back. I would love to eventually invest in a home over there, so I could be over there more than just, fleeting moments. That would be quite nice. But I'm really big into travel. I'm big into learning about other cultures, and really being in that space. And for me, the big picture, it's about growing. It's about learning who you are. It's about finding your path, your calling, your place in the world. And this past couple of weeks, I've been awestruck because I've realized, oh my God, I found my place. I found my calling. I found my purpose. And that has been the most wonderful feeling in the world, because I feel like I'm making a difference. I feel like I'm really doing what I was meant to do. I had a 10% chance of survival when I was born, because I was born extremely premature and I was very, very small. I was about the size of a potato. Babies are supposed to be bigger than potatoes, just so you guys know. So I felt very blessed to be here, but I always knew that I was meant for something, because I statistically shouldn't be here, but I am. So, and now that I've found that, it all ties back in together, from expressing my unique vision in my art, expressing my love of people through learning about their cultures. I'm actually in the process of trying to learn Ukrainian, beautiful language, and really getting into, and of course, being present in the entire time, because, you got to be present in life. And just really living life to its fullest, and experiencing all of that, and all along the way helping others, being there for other people, being their guiding light, being their rock, being their compass, giving them clarity, helping them with what they need help with, because that's what I do. I teach people how money works. I help them with something that's extremely important. But being there for people and loving people, and meeting them where they're at, and being in a space of, I want to help you live your best life. I was talking with my team the other day. I said, I want to help you guys have your best life. I want that so much for people. And it all goes back to my crusade. What I do is more than just a business. It's more than a career. It's a crusade, because I want to make that much of a difference, where 200 or 300 years later, when I'm floating in the cosmos in dust and bones, my impact will still be resonating throughout the people that I've come into contact with. That's what I want. Because I'll be floating in the universe, and I'll just be looking down and be like, that's awesome. I'm still doing stuff down there. Cool. Really, that's where my heart's at. And I'll say this, all this stuff ties together with one's heart. That's where this all comes together, within one's heart.
Excellent. What a great way to get us diving deep and really bringing out something meaningful today in this show and this conversation. So, Keala, where are you at that point about living life through our heartfelt things, like with work, to call it heart work? How do you experience that? We experience that of you, that you bring your heart to us all the time. We're doing our stuff that we continue on with, having met through the Happy Neighborhood Project. But, how would you start describing that a little bit more, about how this is all great, the way we've been introduced, that we can feel that open space to be authentic and genuine and just speak our heart?
Coming from the educator side, I used to teach at a Hawaiian immersion school here on the Big Island, and I had the opportunity to work with students who were considered special ed, or who needed an IEP, an individual education plan. They weren't behavioral. They didn't have, they weren't physical. They didn't need that accommodation, but they needed that mental accommodation. And for me, it was just another way for me to express my heart, my love for them, and seeing them grow. And I carry that till today as something to continue to push me to do better, to know that there is good in everyone, and in any situation, anyone can be successful. But for me, my focus, of course, is the financial literacy and educating our families about making that decision. We've heard the uncertainty in life. Are we prepared? Doing the things that we want to do, are we capable of doing that? Do we have the means? Do we have the time and energy to do so? Or the biggest, self-care. Many of us moms forget about self-care because we're so focused on our children, our families. So having that self-care is very important. Or, like Rudy just mentioned, being in the moment. Are we in the mental capacity to be in the moment right now, to appreciate what's going on around us? Sometimes the answer is no, because we're physically here, but we have a mile-long list of things to do, and we're focused on the things to do, getting it done, and making sure that we use and we maximize the 24 hours everyone has to the best we can. And sometimes we get sidetracked, or we prioritize things differently. And that's just what we need to do, is learn what our purpose is, move forward, and continuing to set that foundation, that option to be able to leave a legacy behind, rather than leaving a legacy of worrisome or things of that nature. It's quite different coming from the islands, and we have our friends and family just right around the corner, or the natural way of meditating, just go out in the yard. The rain is, there's the rain is dropping and all of that good stuff. It's just, I think I'm privileged to be on this platform that Kurt and Emily and Sue has provided. It's safe. It's something that is open. It's something that I can express, not me, my family, but what I do. I recently got a new job. Mentally, it's overwhelming, but at the end of the day, I still consider myself an entrepreneur, the one that, going against the tide or being that trailblazer and creating that different path. Just having a different lens on it, it helps to know that I'm not the only one that's quote unquote weird, because there are other individuals who are entrepreneurs, who are trailblazers, who are going against the tide, who are change makers, if you will. It's just taking that step and saying, I'm able to do what I can because of the community that I invite myself to be in are also like-minded individuals. And Rue say, you'll be that sixth person of who you surround yourself with. So surrounding myself with amazing individuals who are purpose-driven, who are living in the moment. Yes, Rudy. And who's experiencing life is just another step in the right direction, knowing that I am fulfilling my needs and my desires in my heart, of course, and supporting our veterans is one of my deepest supports that I have for me. And yeah, I mean, that's on my heart right now. It's just being in the community, and I'm appreciative of this platform that we're on.
All right, excellent. So Rudy, when we think of taking care of our journey and having the resources to do what we want to do, how do you connect all of that to think of what we want and then to put it together with what we need to do and what we need to have to get what we want? How do you put all that together?
I think there's a few different aspects of it. The biggest one being mindset. And honestly, I feel like mindset is 95% of what we do. 5% is the mechanics. So like building a business, there's the mechanics aspect of it. Like, figure out what kind of business you want to do, how you want to run the business, what products you want to offer, yada, yada, yada. That's the mechanics. But the mindset piece of that is really where it comes together, because you got to be having the mental toughness to ride the ups and downs of running a business. You have to have the mindset of, I have to do whatever it takes. I have to do the little things. I have to do the big things. I have to do everything because I'm my own boss to make things work. So mindset is the first and foremost, the most important aspect of getting what you want. That's a big part of it. One of the books I'm reading right now is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Excellent book. Highly recommended to everyone. It really gets you thinking. It's kind of one of those books you can't really describe, but you just have to read it and you'll get it. I would say it really changes your headspace. That's a big part of it. Organization is another big thing. I'm totally speaking to this because I have ADHD and autism, and I've tried to relearn myself essentially over the past year and a half. I'm relearning myself, which is awesome. That's a big part of it. Organization, having systems in place that can help you along your journey, taking things step by step. There's a meme online. I see it fairly often. There's two guys and they're trying to climb a ladder to success. Well, one guy's taking big steps. The ladder rungs are 7 feet apart. And he's 6 feet tall. He can't reach it. Yeah, he can make it up there in 4 steps, but he can't reach the first one. Versus the other guy, little tiny baby steps. And he's cruising right up there like it's nothing. So baby steps, taking things one thing at a time, not thinking, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's an old saying, but it's true. You got to start with the first brick. You're not going to start by building huge whole columns at a time. You got to put the bricks together first. You got to mix concrete first. So taking things one step at a time in a very intentional way, which leads me to my next piece, be intentional. What is the intent of what you're doing? Is the intent of what you're doing to have a specific outcome? What are you doing? What is the intention behind what you're doing? That's a big piece to it. I've asked myself that. What is the intention of what you're doing right now? What is the outcome you desire? And will this action get you there? That's a really big piece to this. Because if you're just being busy to be busy, and if I were to ask somebody, hey, what is the intention of what you're doing right now? Well, I want to do this. Okay. Is this action going to get you there? Yes. Okay. Good. Do more of that. Versus if somebody says, hey, is that thing what you're doing right now going to get you where you want to go? Oh, I really don't know. Okay. What do you think it's going to do? Do you think it's going to get you where you want to go? Good point. I didn't really think about it. Maybe not. Okay, cool. You recognize that. Most people don't. So awesome. Keep going. Go to the next thing. And I think the other big part too, I mean, granted, this is not something that can really be taught per se, but it needs to be talked about. It needs to be discussed. Because you can't really teach mindset in school. I really don't think you can. You can teach the concept, sure, but it does need to begin at home. It does need to begin in the family dynamic, saying, hey, what's your mindset toward this? What are your thoughts on this? What's your relationship to this? I like to ask people what the relationship to money is. How many people have been asked that? Not many. I wasn't. If somebody asked me that when I was in my 20s, I'd be like, I make it and I spend it. That's it. Make it and spend it, make it and spend it. Now it's like, hey, what's your relationship to money? I make it, I save it. I did a 180. Thank God. Because I got an education. I was taught. My mindset changed. So, but having that discussion. And it doesn't have to be finance necessarily. It can be anything at all. If we don't discuss mindset, if we don't discuss intention, if we don't develop a culture around various topics, and not necessarily like a business culture, but just a culture of discussion, a culture of let's talk about this subject in an open forum. Let's bring it out. Let's discuss it. Let's analyze it a little bit. Let's see if we can make it either open up for education, learning more about it, see how we can apply it differently in our lives, see if it's even something that we need to hang on to. It might be something we could reinvent. We could really open up our thinking process, because I feel that when topics are discussed and ideas are discussed, more ideas come from them. I have a weekly call with a friend of mine, and we'll be saying something, and then one of us will be like, oh, and we'll have a revelation. It happens every single week because we're just talking about a culture. We're talking about a subject. We're talking about an idea. We're talking about a mindset. And then I truly believe humans are creative at heart. We're always thinking. We'll hear a phrase, we'll hear a word, and we're like, ooh, I just thought of something. And then because we talk about it, because we open up our minds to it, we develop new ideas. We develop new patterns of thinking. We develop new versions of ourselves, and then we grow because of it.
All right, so Kial, I want to build from that a little bit. When we carry out our life and we get into doing stuff because we always have done it, we've got our habits, and then we continue on. A lot of times there's human nature to just look to the end game, to look to the result, look what you're trying to do, and this thing of instant gratification is there, and then you enter into where there's haste makes waste. Do you do something in your process for yourself, and then being in the service industry, do you do stuff to kind of check in with people to say, once in a while, as we talk and we react to people, we kind of suggest maybe we want to back up the train a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit more of a checklist. How do you take a look at getting that good foundation to where when we aspire to acquire or to achieve, and then in terms of the next step and the immediate next steps, do you do stuff to kind of help yourself and others more reevaluate if they're really making the plans for the next week and months, like prioritizing and stuff like that? What does that all look like for you?
So for me, I have roughly about 3 accountable partners that I check in. It's no matter what, we're checking in. We're going to celebrate the goods, the wins. We're going to break down what didn't work. And I'm reading Your Leadership Legacy, written by Oak McLaughlin. And he speaks about being a leader. It's not just being honored that title. You now live up to, okay, am I ethically living my life? Am I ethically displaying that, what is the right word? That leadership skills? Am I ethically living to a point where they're being inspired to live or push themselves to be better? And like Rudy said, it's the mindset. When we, for instance, living in a poverty area here in Hawaii, living in an area where high crimes, your family's living paycheck to paycheck, maybe even off of the government, because that's all it's going to be this continuous rat race, or this continuous rat wheel that you're on. It's until you, like Rudy, of course, it's mentioning getting educated in moving forward, in changing that mindset, in being able to influence others, to make a difference, to not only be successful in making that decision, but being confident. I think it comes from within, from that mindset, that knowing I can get it done. I can move forward and be the better version of myself today than I was yesterday. Carrying that mentality with me every day is, am I learning something? Am I bettering myself? Am I better today than I was yesterday? Did I make that change mentally? Because also, I forgot where I heard it from, but this lady said, the body is wonderful because the mind often is the machine to heal the body. If we think negative thoughts, we manifest that negative thoughts. We think positive thoughts. We see the finish line of where we want to go. We eventually manifest that. And I think living my life to that certainty of, I see my finish line. Along the way, I'm seeing my supporters. I'm giving them that acknowledgement. I'm having my accountability partners, checking in with them. I know that this race, I'm not doing it alone. I have the support. I have the sidelines cheering, and just pushing it out there that there are, like, I'm supporting Kurt, even though I think it's been 6 months since he's like, hey, hop on a podcast. Yeah. Hey, just today we did it, and it's finding that sense of being comfortable in being uncomfortable. A lot of my mentors, I'm lucky to be a part of an organization that we depend on reading. If you don't have the means of buying a new book or getting the most updated technology, there's newspapers, there's friends. Hey, let me borrow your computer so I can read up on this. Being able to offer that door of opportunity just gives them the door to the world, right? Being that stepping stone to ensure that others are not stuck in that same rut, if you will, or I'm going to be an alcoholic because my parents are an alcoholic. Sometimes it takes that mindset to be like, no, I'm going to change. I don't want to live down that road. I don't want to let life just pass me by. I want to be that opportunity to open doors. And, I'm not pushing no religion on anyone, but as a God-believing individual, I am grateful that he is here opening the doors for me and my family and the blessings that I received, because I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for him, or if his plans hasn't rolled out. And being able to be on the freely talk about the topics or feelings, as studying psychology, I know mental health is one of the biggest things that gets swept under the carpet. I feel mental health should be at the forefront of everything. If we can't think happy thoughts or think that we can do it, it's only gonna push us back into like our emotions, and that's where we have our depressions. We have our veterans, our soldiers who are going to war, who are suffering, and they're going homeless because they don't know how to open that door and ask, or there's no support. So for me, it's taking care of that mindset, or being that one that's going to change the course of your family, being that trailblazer. And it's funny because I didn't know what a trailblazer was until I did researches, until I joined our organization. I realized that for me, I'm that trailblazer for my family. I no longer want to live paycheck to paycheck because that's what I know. I'm going to push the boundaries, and I'm going to change the path of my future generation, my children and their children's children. So, it's one step at a time, but it's also ensuring that if you want to trade your life, make sure you trade it with someone who is already doing it or who has already done it, because you don't want to trade your life for, like, let's say, no bad intentions on parents, but if your parent is an alcoholic, you don't want to trade your life for an alcoholism, right? You want to trade your life for better, for all these opportunities. And anyone, whether they have an ability or not, the fact that they're being open to learn is just putting them in a greater position to make that decision. I have learned this, and I'm going to make a decision, and I'm going to be committed, but I'm also going to be checking in with my accountability. So that's how I continue to live and check in and make sure that I'm not just pushing someone, because they got to be willing, but I'm pulling them along to make sure that I give them my support as well. So thank you, Kurt.
Very good, Kialis. So Rudy, I want to pick up on the element and, support, looking at the different roles that the different members of the family have, the financial aspect, the, family plans, activities, what family members want to do. Rudy, you want to just kind of give a little bit of a synopsis in terms of, how you serve families, what that looks like, kind of how things with your company and your team works, and, kind of what you're providing, daily throughout the week. What does it look like? And then how do people reach you to continue this conversation?
Definitely. So the big thing that I focus on is education. The vast majority of people, 99% of people, don't have somebody in their corner helping them with their finances. And that to me, that breaks my heart, because so many people need to know how money works. So many people were not blessed to have a financial education. I really wasn't. I learned the basics, but other than that, I didn't really learn much. And my mindset was not around money. My mindset was, I make money, I spend money. That's it. No more. Might have retirement. Maybe I'll get retirement from my job. Maybe, right? That's all I got. But then when I realized that there's more out there, not only in tools and vehicles that I could put my money into that could work for me, but in mindset and education, and this is how money works. And realizing not only that, but realizing, oh, I can have my own business too and make more money. Okay, I like this, but then teaching people all this stuff at the same time, which people need. So what I do for people, I sit with them. That's on Zoom, of course. I sit with them and I talk to them and say, hey, what's your relationship to money? Let's talk about that first. Let me give you a short little presentation on some things you might not know. I have a book I can give people called How Money Works, which explains the basics of finance in 5th grade English with, pictures like a graphic novel. It's amazing. I wish I had that coming out of high school. Things would be different. But, giving people that education, and at the end of the day, giving them clarity, showing them what's possible. And I tell you, seeing people's eyes light up sometimes, it's pretty cool. Like, yeah, this is possible for you. Hey, if you're not quite where you want to be, let's have that discussion. Let's see how we can get you to where you want to be. Have you thought about having more than one income stream? Has anybody ever talked to you about that? What would it feel like to write your own checks? Let's talk about that too. Let's get your mind in a different headspace when it revolves around money and finance. Are you a saver or are you a spender? Are you both? It's possible to do both. It's not easy, but it's possible. But really just having that honest, deep dive conversation. Where are you at right now? Because I always say I want to meet people where they're at. Where do you want to go? And let me see if I can help you get there. Let's have that discussion. So really coming at it from multiple facets and providing something like a complimentary financial news analysis, which I can do for people too. Giving them that clarity, really giving a deep dive into their world. Say, hey, let's talk about that. Has anybody talked to you about this before? Well, not really. That's okay. That's not rare. Let me be that guy for you. Let's talk. No judgment whatsoever. We're going to talk because I want to help you. I want to make your life better because everybody deserves that. Because I always lead from the heart. Whenever I talk about, the financial industry, it's numbers, graphs, and pie charts, but I'm interjecting, heart and soul into it because in front of the numbers is a person that needs help. That's where I come in. I talk to the person first. I look at the numbers second. That's where I come from. And that's what I want to do for people. I want to give them that clarity. And I have several people on my team now that realize that more people need this. And they want to make a big impact in teaching people and changing the conversation around money, making it a dinner table topic. The old saying goes, there's 2 topics you don't talk about at dinner table: religion, politics. There's a third topic that is so not talked about that we don't even talk about talking about it. Money. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. We don't want to talk about it so much that we don't even talk about talking about it. I had that revelation the other day. I'm just like, oh my God, that's crazy. So, but I want it to be a comfortable topic. Money is harmless. It's just a tool. Okay, if you get a silver dollar flung at your head, it probably will hurt. But that's another can of worms, everybody. But we got to know how to use it. I equate money to a chainsaw. You can use it to cut firewood. You can use it to take a log out of your driveway. You can heat your house by making firewood. You can lop your limb off. It can look intimidating, but it's all in how you use it. It's not going to spring to life by itself and, turn into an animated, possessed machine. Not going to happen. It's not going to pull extra steam. So it's all good. But if we're not educated, we're not going to know how to use it. That's where I come in. Money's a tool we're not taught how to use. That's what I want to change. I want to make it that dinner table topic. I want to make it that space where it's like, let's all talk about it, guys. There's no taboo there. Because the more we talk about it, the more we understand it, the more we're informed and educated, we can make empowered decisions about our financial future wherever they may be. Whether somebody just graduated high school, a young family in their 30s, somebody in their 60s or 70s who's not quite sure about what their retirement accounts are going to do, they're a little worried. Helping somebody very recently same thing. You know, not too certain about what their retirement account's going to do. The market's a little shaky. You know, I want to help you. I want to protect that. You worked hard for it. I don't want you to lose any. You know, I want to make sure you're going to be okay. I know there's people downtown that are still working in their 70s. And I'm thinking, what? I mean, if you love what you do, you'll never work it in your life. But if you want to retire, let's talk about that. So anyway, total nerd about that. I love helping people wherever they're at, you know, whether they're in their 20s or their 70s. That's what I do. I teach people how money works. I give them financial clarity. I give them hope. I give them a direction that they can go. And that to me is the most fulfilling thing in the world, because I know that my impact will last far beyond that conversation. It will last for years. It will last for decades. It will last for longer than that even. Their children are going to be taught this stuff. Their children's children are going to be taught this stuff. And I'm going to be long gone, but their whole lineage is going to change because of something I told their grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather. And then before you know it, everyone's more prosperous because they got an education that they might never have gotten if I didn't say, hello, this is what I do. It's great to meet you. Has anybody ever talked to you about this before? I'd love to teach you some stuff. Being there for people. Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I will actually put my contact information in the chat real quick. And I've been doing this a little over a year. Grew up on the Oregon coast. I'm a cat dad of 5. I feel like I should have more cats. That's a thing with me. Actually, that's one of the long-term things I want to be able to do is to give back to charity on a very, very large scale. I want to be able to eventually write 5-figure checks to ASPCA, to Wounded Warrior Project, you know, really be able to really give back to charity in a massive, massive way. That's my big picture of what I want to do for people. And I mean, at the end of the day, just make a difference, make an impact that's be a part of something that's bigger than me. That's where I come from. That's where my heart's at. I love what I do. And I want people to be better than okay. I want people to thrive, because there's a difference between existing and living. I don't want people to exist. I want people to live. Because guys, life's short. Let's live it to its fullest. And fortunately or unfortunately, money makes the world go round. But it's okay, because I want to help get some clarity to that. I want to help get some empowerment. Then it makes it that much easier. And then we can all live the life we've always wanted. And I'm a nerd for numbers, not going to lie. That's me in a nutshell.
All right. Thank you very much, Rudy. So, Kiala, we're here in our final minutes of this show, but I want to make sure you have a chance to share a little bit about how people can continue this conversation about, you know, tips, tricks, techniques, process, you know, making plans and getting set up right to have the funds that they need if they're kind of in a spot right now and they need attention, a shortfall of funds right now, or just to prevent that in the future. How do they reach out to you to get that kind of help?
So I also will put my information in the chat. I, like you, Rudy, that is my go-to as well. And in the industry, I feel more and more needs to come in. The population is continuing to rise. The amount of individuals who are able to educate our community is dwindling faster than we can even realize, because a lot of them are retiring from the industry because they've been in it for 20, 30 years and now they want to enjoy their life. But what about the upcoming future? We don't have, per se, that future's the generation coming into the industry. We have those who are leaving the industry with lots of these information. And it's you know, quite heartening, because we don't have anyone to pass that on. But you can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. I am on all those platforms. You can also email me, which apparently didn't copy over. We focus on moving forward, educating and making sure that there's a possible future and a legacy to be compared to that one family. And I just drew a blank. But nonetheless, we always want to live a legacy. So yes, I did put my information, and we are open to do one-on-ones, to meet you anywhere, because Zoom has allowed us to be connected. So Kurt, back to you.
All right, so there you go. That's a wrap. I'm Kurt Roskoff, your host for the World of Ability podcast show, live streaming out to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and many other podcasting and video platforms, and for sure used internally within the work we do at the Disability Channel, and with Wingate Studios, Wingate TV, nonprofit TV, out to the PAC channel and Transform You Media Network. We are out here to take this conversation that we have on a regular basis and get it out to the masses. We are in mass media, and we are in massive motion to make big changes in the world. And thank you so much, everybody out there, for what you do in your life and everything you do for others. Again, till next time with the World of Ability, we have enjoyed the hour. Take care and all the best to your day and weeks.